welcome to the What's Up Casselberry podcast. Listeners, we are so glad that you have joined us today for episode 37, where we are talking about our city with folks from our city, about some of the great things that are happening in our community here in Casselberry. Now, today is a very special day because we are going to produce the show with three hosts. Drew is going to be part of hosting the interview with a very special guest that is coming up soon. And I will be here through all the segments. But for today, we have producer Robin in the hot seat as presenter Robin. She is a lady of many talents. And Robin, we are thrilled that you've jumped onto this hot seat and are going to be co-hosting with me today. How are you doing?
I am great. I'm so excited about this temporary promotion.
It is a temporary promotion, but if all goes well, it could well be a permanent promotion. Drew and I are very aware that we have many shortcomings as presenters, and we'll be watching over our shoulders to see how well you do as you maybe put together a coup to take over our podcast.
We'll see.
Robin, we're about Casselberry and for Casselberry, and folks have heard your name, but maybe they don't know too much about you. So as your presenter, Robin, for the day, tell us a little bit about your connection to Casselberry.
Well, I've been an official Casselberry resident for about a year, but I have grown up in the Seminole County, surrounding areas, Longwood. My church that I've been a longtime member here is right in Casselberry, and I live in what's considered downtown Casselberry.
So living in downtown Casselberry in some of those new apartments, what's it like?
The location is very nice. I'm close to things I can walk to. I can walk to Target, Publix, church, work. It's right next to Lake Concord Park and City Hall, so there's plenty of walking around there. Walk to the pumpkin patch that we're going to interview today.
Yes, that's right. And then you can just kind of roll your pumpkin down 1792 once you've purchased it, can't
Exactly.
you? But yeah, it's no surprise that all those places are an easy access for you because Casselberry has been working for a long time to make itself a walkable city. And your experience living downtown suggests that that vision is turning into reality. So Robin, now we're going to move to a new section called our Community Member of the Month. Now we haven't chosen this person yet. This is a new thing we're starting because we realize that in order to make our community so strong and such a great place to live, it takes many people doing thankless tasks that improve our quality of life. And so we realize that because often community service is a thankless task, that we would like to say thank you to some of those folks who make a difference. We know some of them, but listeners, you know many of them as well. And we would like to hear from you. Who do you think is worthy and has earned the title of Community Member of the Month? Each month next year, beginning in a month or so, we will award your nomination with a certificate and a little trophy as a sign of our gratitude for them making a difference in our city. If you have someone that you would like to nominate for this award, you can send us an email at contact@whatsupcasselberry.com. You can communicate with us through our website or through our social media. We would love to hear from you. Who are some community members of the month that you see making a difference that we can honor and say thank you to? Robin, if you weren't part of our team, I'd probably nominate you for your thankless service to the podcast and our community. But as you think about people who make a difference in our community and in our city, what are some of the traits and some of the characteristics that you think make someone worthy of this new award?
Well, definitely someone who gives without expecting to give. There's so many people that serve our community with their time, talent, and treasures, and they just give and give because it brings them so much joy, and they help improve our community in so many ways they don't even realize. So somebody who really just goes all in.
All in. I like that, Robin. That is a good presenter point for you because that transitions us to our next segment where we give a shout out and a thank you to our sponsor. And as you mentioned, the community volunteers who are all in make a difference. Our sponsor this week is All In Construction. A few episodes back, we had Kinsey Lullathan on the show, who works for All In Construction, and they cater for all of your construction needs here in our local area. If you want to reach out to them, if you want to learn more about them, we'd encourage you to go to allinconstruction.com. They're involved in our community, making a difference in our community, and they're people, like you said, Robin, who are all in. Another of those all-in volunteers is our next interview, who will be coming up right after the break. Hello, listeners. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us on our favorite part of the show. Today, we have a special guest talking about a Casselberry institution that if you have not yet visited, you need to. And if you haven't yet visited, you will know exactly where and what I'm talking about when I mention that we have Heather, the leader of the pumpkin patch, with us. Now, that's not Heather's full-time job. It's something she volunteers at and loves, and part of what comes under her responsibility as the director of youth and young adults at Community United Methodist Church. And we are thrilled today that this is our first live, what do you call it, in the field, on location recording, because as we speak today, Heather is right there in the pumpkin patch. Welcome, Heather. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Andy. I'm doing well. It's great to be here with you today.
I'm feeling some pumpkin spice latte in my family's future here coming up. All right, Heather. So one of the ways we love to introduce our guests and let people know about them is to share some kind of rapid fire icebreaker questions. Andy and I will take turns asking you a question, and you just pop off with the first thing that comes into your mind. So Heather, I think since you are surrounded by pumpkins, my first question is, what's your favorite pumpkin-based food or beverage?
Well, I am a pumpkin spice latte kind of girl. I liked them from the very beginning before they were popular. And actually this season, my dog and I drove through the Casselberry Starbucks drive-through on the last day of August, which was the first day that pumpkin spice was available. We were in line that morning to get it.
I have to confess that I have never had a pumpkin spice latte. It just doesn't appeal to me. Heather, we can see you, and you are wearing some pumpkin-themed clothing. Our next icebreaker question is, what's your favorite pumpkin-themed article of clothing?
I am, yes. I have this lovely pumpkin shirt that I've been wearing, but I think my favorite are these pumpkin earrings that I got specifically to wear in the pumpkin patch because I knew I'd be spending a lot of time here. I wear them almost every day.
Those are very cool looking, Heather. That's fantastic. All right. So Heather, as you and your team were unloading pumpkins, that gets heavy. Some of those pumpkins are really, really cumbersome. What song is your go-to song to motivate you when you just need some motivation, like unloading pumpkins?
They do get very heavy. It does take a lot of volunteers and a lot of work. I think my go-to song would be I Will Survive by Gloria Gaynor. I mean, it's a long, hot day with a lot of manual labor, but we survive it every year.
Give us a little bit of background on the history of the pumpkin patch at Community Methodist.
Sure. There is a long history of the pumpkin patch at this church. We've been doing a pumpkin patch here for over 30 years. I actually don't know the exact date, but I do know that we are one of the first Methodist churches that started a pumpkin patch. And now as you drive all around town or even across the country, there are many Methodist churches, but some other churches too. I don't know why it's particularly a Methodist thing, but we are one of the very first churches that started to have a pumpkin patch.
30 years is a long time, and it's one of those symbols for me that fall is coming when I see the pumpkins start to fill up that lawn you have there, right on 1792. As you said, the pumpkin patch is a lot of work, but I know it's a lot of fun for you and your team as well. What are some of the things that bring you joy about the pumpkin patch?
Well, the thing that brings me the most joy is seeing the kids come in the pumpkin patch. When you have a very small child that is so excited and they get to come to the patch and pick out their own pumpkin, and just the joy that it brings to their face, it's just wonderful. There's nothing else like it.
That's fantastic. Heather, my wife and I have loved going to the community pumpkin patch for a long time. We take kind of an annual picture when we pick out our pumpkin, and we've now got our own little pumpkin, a little baby boy that's going to be enjoying making memories of the Taylor family, taking pictures. Andy, I'm sure you guys have do similar things with your family. When somebody shows up to Community Methodist during this time of year, what are some memory-making opportunities that are offered there?
Well, we do have a lot of photo ops. We have different places in the pumpkin patch that are specifically set up for you to take a nice picture. But almost every year we have either an engagement, somebody proposes in the pumpkin patch, or we have a lot of baby announcements, like taking pictures with pumpkins or, announcing that family is expecting a baby. And so those are so much fun, and we have one just about every year. So that's very exciting.
I love that. That's great. Those are some very special memories. I mean, it makes sense. The birth announcement, right? Having our own little pumpkin. I like it. Now, have you seen any wedding proposals that have gone wrong or anything like that? I remember I was at a magic game once and this guy proposed to his fiance in front of everybody. It was on the big screen and she said no. Has that ever happened there?
Not that I know of. The two engagements that I have witnessed, she said yes both times. So that's good.
Producer Robin, I think you have a photo or the pumpkin patch. Is that right, Heather? What did Producer Robin do?
Yes, Producer Robin comes to the pumpkin patch every year and takes a picture with her pet snake. We try to make sure that there are not too many people that she might scare away at the time, but she had a nice picture from last year. She's going to do it again this year.
Please keep a good grip on your snake, Robin. I would hate for that to get lost in the hay and for it to sneak in to someone's pumpkin picture and scar a child or something.
Heather, what is one of your favorite pumpkin patch stories, whether it's serving or seeing another family? Is there something that just really stands out to you?
Actually, my favorite story started long before I was here, but there is a particular family that comes to the pumpkin patch every year. They've been coming, I think maybe for the 30 years that we've been doing it, and they use it as their family reunion. And so they come to the patch, they take a picture, and then in the parking lot, they set up a tent and chairs, and they have like a little bonfire, a little fire pit. And they just like tailgate. They have their little family reunion party. And I think it's just amazing.
I love that. I really love that. I never knew all this memory-making stuff happened. That's fantastic. You let us know when they come and pretend to be like long-lost cousin Eddie or something and have some barbecue under the tent with them.
Yes, we never know actually when they're coming. But yes, it's always a fun event. I'll try to let you know.
So the pumpkin patch has been around for about 30 years, but the church is known in many ways as the Pumpkin Church. But the church has a whole lot of other things going on for a lot longer than 30 years. Tell us a little bit more about Community United Methodist Church and perhaps the unique role that it plays in our community.
Sure, that is a long answer. I could tell you lots and lots of things. Some things that come to mind right now, like just this week, community led collecting donations to make goodie bags for our police officers to show our support and our care of them. And so we delivered some goodie bags to the police officers. And more recently, we've joined with some other churches in the area to have our race and reconciliation talks. And I think that has just been received so well throughout our community. I think it's something very different because I have friends and family that live in other communities and other states, and they say that is amazing. I wish my church would do that, or I wish my community would get together and do that. So I think that's very unique. I do have to plug the youth ministry for a little bit because I'm the youth director. So the Pumpkin Patch is our annual fundraiser, and we use the money to support our youth ministry throughout the whole year. But every year, community has a really long history of at least those 30 years of going on a mission trip every year. Last year, we went to Alaska, just outside of Anchorage, to help with earthquake damage. The year before that, we went to Puerto Rico to help clean up with hurricane damage. Obviously, this last summer, we weren't able to go anywhere because of COVID-19 lockdowns, but we are looking forward to an opportunity to serve next year somewhere. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is that community offers a Thanksgiving Day lunch that is free to the community. It is I believe we're the only place that offers a meal on Thanksgiving Day. And it started out just as an outreach for people who maybe were elderly or shut-ins or homeless that didn't have a place to go on Thanksgiving. We didn't want them to be alone. And so we weren't sure we were going to be able to do it this year with COVID, but we have a team working to make sure that we can follow all of the guidelines and have it safe. But we are officially having our Thanksgiving meal this year.
I love that, Heather. One of the things that community is really known for is its service. And so I love how you highlighted those different ways in which you serve. And it's been a joy. Andy and I and producer Robin have actually been posting those racial reconciliation conversations on this podcast feed. So thank you for that shout out and for you and your students participating. Well, Heather, as 2020 has been anything but a normal year, driving by the campus and seeing the pumpkins on the side of the road there on 1792 definitely brings some normalcy to things. What went into the decision to sell pumpkins this year? And is there anything specific that you all are doing in regards to with COVID regulations and whatnot?
Thanks, Drew. Yes, this is a popular question from people in our community as well. The number one reason that went into it was because it is an outside event, and we also have a very large front lawn, so we have a lot of room to be outside, to be able to spread out and keep social distancing. So the decision was made that we would go ahead and do it. We also have a lot of new safety things in place. All of our workers are required to wear a mask. I took mine off just for this interview, but everyone's required to wear a mask. We encourage our visitors to wear a mask, but we have things available like hand sanitizer, disposable gloves. We do have disposable masks available if anybody would like one. We do have signs up encouraging people to social distance. And so I think that all those things have gone over well. We added a new contactless pay option this year. So we have that option. If we don't want to touch people's hands or cards or money, we have that available. Technology is amazing. And the number one thing that I've heard so far from people in our community is we're so excited that you're here, that you have this. Our family is only doing outside activities, or, we're looking for something that we could do together as a family. So we appreciate you having this open. So that's been really encouraging to us to hear that feedback.
That's fantastic. Listeners, one of the reasons you may hear another kind of feedback is because Heather is live from the pumpkin patch, and every once in a while we can see some people walking behind you buying their pumpkins, which brings up two thoughts. First of all, if you want to buy a pumpkin, get down there quickly, right? Because they're moving quickly. But the question I would have as well is you're obviously selling a lot of pumpkins and you will make some profit off this. You're doing it as a fundraiser. What do you do? How do you use the funds that you raise from the selling of the pumpkins?
So all of the profits that we raise support our youth and young adult ministry. We actually don't get a budget line from the church every year because we make a good profit from the pumpkin patch. And so that money is our budget for the entire year. It pays for everything that we do. Our youth ministry is very active. We meet every Sunday evening from 5 to 7. We share a meal together every evening, and we do fun outreach things as well as a lot of serving opportunities. Like I mentioned, our mission trips earlier. And so the money just helps support everything that we do.
And I love that, especially for our youth today. There are so many challenges and temptations for them to make poor decisions and spend their time in ways that aren't particularly constructive. But the ministry you offer, the experiences you provide, the trips that you give them, make an investment in them as well. So when people are buying a pumpkin, they're not just getting something to eat or decorate their home with, they're actually making a difference in people's lives. And I love that about what you're doing. As someone who hasn't bought a pumpkin for at least a year, tell us how much people can expect to pay for your pumpkins. I mean, you've got a reputation as being one of the best pumpkin purchasing places in town, but how much do people pay for your pumpkins?
Thanks, Andy. Yes, we have pumpkins of all shapes and sizes that range in any price. So if you have a budget that you need to stick to, we can find you a pumpkin within your budget. All of our bulk pumpkins are measured. And so an average good size pumpkin is about $8 to $10. But we also have lots of mini pumpkins. These are some of our best sellers. These are just $1 a piece. So we have a big range. We also have a craft store with lots of homemade crafts, decorations. There's also things like homemade jams and apple butter and pumpkin butter. So we have a huge variety. There's something for everyone here.
I love it. You're quite the sales lady, Heather. That's fantastic. We have to wrap up in just a moment, but what are your store hours? When are you open?
We are open Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. And then on Sunday, of course, we have church in the morning. So we're closed during church, but we're open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. So we are open quite a bit. When it's dark out, our lights are on, so you can drive by and you'll know if the lights are on, we're here and we're open, and we're looking forward to seeing people.
That's great. Heather, thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for all that you and community do to serve our community in so many ways. Like I said, the other day, I drove by the church, I saw the pumpkins, and it provided some normalcy in what's been a difficult year. And thanks for doing that for me and for many others in our community as well. Friends who are listening, would encourage you to stop by, get your pumpkins from Community United Methodist Church. It's a Casselberry tradition. Take some pictures with your family. If you're seriously dating someone and looking to get engaged, this is obviously the place to do so, because as far as we know, no one said no yet. So Heather, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for how you serve our community.
Thank you so much for having me.
Wow, Robin, wasn't that a great interview? I just love Heather and her energy and that fall spirit and joy that they bring to our community. Friends, as we prepare to wrap up our episode today, I want to leave you with some words of inspiration. These are taken from our Facebook and Instagram feeds, where every Sunday we'll just post an inspirational thought, a quote to try and inspire you a little bit. This one is a Latin proverb. We're not quite sure who it comes from, but there's a lot of wisdom in these words. If the wind will not serve, take to the oars. If the wind will not serve, take to the oars. And as I read that, I am reminded that if we want to get where we're going, we have to be intentional. We have to be purposeful. We have to put some hard work in, because very rarely does anyone drift to success. If we want to get where we're going, we can't rely on the wind and circumstances beyond our control to get us there. Sometimes we have to take the oars and put in the hard work of making a difference to get us where we need to go. Once again, that quote, if the wind will not serve, take it to the oars.
Wow, Andy, that is inspirational. Well, I hope I did a good job on my audition today.
You did fantastic. You did really well. I think Drew's position is in jeopardy, honestly.
That's right. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the What's Up Casselberry podcast, a casual conversation about our community. This podcast is produced by me, Robin Kepi. For more information, please check out our website, Facebook page, Instagram, or podcast feed, all with the name What's Up Casselberry. Please like and subscribe to our podcast, and please rate and review us. Until next time, have a great week.